Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome an accomplished, talented, and successful entrepreneur from Gurgaon and UAE, Bhavika Sachdeva. Bhavika, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and so glad to be here. For a
Thank
person
you.
who follows this podcast, it feels really nice to be conversing with you on this.
Thank you. Bhavika is the director of Siddharth and Lubes Private Limited. She has been named among the top 10 leaders in the oil and gas industry. She's an author of a book titled, which is a self-help book for children. And she has another one coming up. And both these books she's done with her little daughter. And Bhavika is also creating a forum for women in the industry. And given the incredible amount of work that Bhavika is doing, understandably, she's been recognized and felicitated several times. So, Bhavika, let me start with my first question. Tell me about your own journey in brief, and what inspired you to enter the lubricants industry.
Mhm. So, this is actually my husband's family business.
Mm,
When I got married, which was very young, um, I came into his work.
mhm.
It was not a very thought out approach. It was more like, oh, let me, what can I add value? Let me see what he does. It was more like that. But the first day I actually came to work,
Mm,
I went to my father-in-law's office, and he has this massive office, okay?
mm,
And he kept a desk right next to his desk, which
mhm.
had Bhavika written on it.
Wow.
And when I went there, there was pictures of women on top of it.
Mm,
And you name the person and was there. There was Indira Gandhi, Margaret
amazing.
Thatcher, Indra
Mm,
Nooyi, Kiran
mm,
Majumdar. So all
mm,
the inspirational leaders, their pictures were on that desk,
mm.
and it had a quote which said, "If they can do it, so can you."
Amazing.
And I still get goosebumps when I talk about this to anybody.
Mm,
So that was the introduction to business. And I think the kind of, if a parent gives you that kind of confidence and trust,
correct.
the your confidence goes up to a very high degree.
Mm,
So that had been, I wouldn't, a journey as well as my evolution that has happened over 12 years of being in this industry. So
mm.
that was the introduction to it.
Incredible. What an amazing story, and compliments to your father-in-law for giving you such an amazing start in the industry from his own office.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, Bhavika, let's talk about the grease and lubes industry. And I must mention, I don't know very much about it, but therefore I'm going to ask you my very basic question. Give us an overview of the current trends and challenges in the grease and lubricants industry.
So grease and lubricants has been prevalent, and history has accounts of as old as 2400 BC,
Hmm,
where the Egyptian pharaohs used to use a sort of lubricant to move the statues.
hmm,
And then the chariots came, and there was something used for the moving parts. So it is more in our everyday lives than we actually realize it.
hmm,
From your fan to your watch to the toys that we use to the pen, the gel in the end, everything is a sort of lubricant or grease that
hmm,
is moving our world right now.
hmm,
So we may think the least about it, but it's actually a necessity commodity.
hmm,
So the industry is dependent on the changes in the automotive as well as the industry and there has been, especially in the recent years, very fast-paced changes that have come. So
hmm,
which have been related to EV, they have been related to automation, they have been related to so many things that have evolved in the everyday lives of
hmm,
ours.
hmm,
And along with that, a very large aspect of sustainability has come in. So,
hmm,
that being the buzzword for the globe. So, this industry is also trying to put a very large focus on this because that is
hmm,
the need of the hour. So,
hmm,
these are the few things that are defining the trends which are following this industry
hmm,
right now.
hmm. What a great response. Thank you. And tell me a little bit more about the kind of work Siddharth Grease and Lubes are doing. in this whole industry?
So we consider ourselves industry leaders, especially in putting out new age technologies. We have two R&D centers, and the core focus of the company is technology.
Mhm.
So it is not about bringing out just new products which meet the market requirements. It's about creating futuristic products which the industry yet does not realize it needs.
Mhm.
But when that trend comes in, we already have something to meet.
Mhm.
So Siddharth is doing a lot of work in these technology centers
Mhm.
and then commercializing it through a lot of brands which we serve as a private label.
Mhm.
The idea is to uh, envisage what comes in robotics, to envisage what comes in the EV sector, for an example, to envisage what are the things that are going dynamic in the world, how to replace critical raw materials. That's a
Mhm.
lot of work that we do. And there is a niche that we have taken on that, which is greases, where
Mhm.
we focus a lot on because most of the larger entities are more focused on the lubricant aspect of it.
Mhm.
So this is an aspect where we feel we can add a lot of value, and that's where we focus our development in.
Well said. And a few minutes back, Bhavika, you were telling me about greases and lubricants being used from 2500 BC. And you also mentioned that you are at the cutting edge of technology. So, my question is, what are some of the significant technological advancements you have seen in the industry?
So, like I said, while a lot of things remain constant, that the need is to lubricate what is moving. But there, especially in the recent years, there has been a vast change in what is happening in the industry.
Right.
So, coming in terms of technologies, there is a lot of new technologies that have been discovered that are coming up.
Mm.
One is the end use, which we'll get to a little later.
Yeah.
So, the first is our internal work, which we do, which is
Mm.
replacing major additives, which is coming up with nanotechnologies, which is creating a higher weld load, higher response, better application. So, there is a lot of back-end work in technology that is happening, which is to suit all the changes that are coming.
Mm.
For an example, EV is a new development that has come in the past few years.
Correct.
Now it has taken away a very large chunk of the lubricant pie, which is the engine oils.
Mm.
But there is a very large need of better thermal stable fluids,
Mm.
which has come up with it. Then there is a need of low noise greases which has come with it. A
Mm.
faster product that has to be put.
Mm.
So the machine cannot work if the lubricant cannot take the load of the machine.
I see.
So there has been a lot of unique things that comes with just that one EV, for example, which are
Mm.
electrical motors and different types of gears. So there is a specialized lubricant need in everything that comes up.
Mm.
This is one of the things like that in industry as well. There has been a lot of automation that has come up.
Mm.
There is a lot of high speed products that have come up.
Mm.
The traditional lubricant cannot take that. So there has been so much change in what we are making to suit that application.
Mm.
Beyond that, I think environment has become a very large aspect of everything that we do.
Right.
So trying to find greener alternatives to one, the changing things, to the changing needs already,
Mm.
and then having so many something that doesn't harm the environment per se.
Mm.
Because as a petrochemical product, this is a very critical aspect that we need to take care of if we all want to focus on
Well said.
sustainability.
Well said. But Bhavika, when I was reading up and preparing for my conversation with you, I also came across something called synthetic lubricants, which seem to be coming in a big way. Tell
Correct.
me a little bit more about the future of synthetic lubricants and how are they compared to the traditional options?
So synthetic lubricants are designed to perform better
Hmm.
under extreme temperatures
Hmm.
or extreme conditions. They give better protection for machinery.
Hmm.
And industries are focusing and pushing more towards efficiency. Synthetic lubricants also give a much larger drain. which is better for the sustainability aspect. Synthetic lubricants compared to traditional lubricants are definitely something that play an increasingly important role in the future of lubricants. India and many other developing nations are still very price sensitive. So for these regions, this is not a very big pie in the whole lubricant chart. But still, it is growing at an exponential rate. And we do hope for it to do so, because if we talk about so many changes which we are keeping up with and the environmental impact that we talk about, this is going to play a very important role.
Amazing. Thank you. My next question, you spoke of sustainability, so that gives me a segue to my next question. There's a lot of debate and discussion on sustainability of the lubricants and grease industry. Tell me more about how is the industry and how is Siddharth managing the question of sustainability?
So there have been many large strides that the industry has taken. Some have happened because of the government policies. All countries are coming up with their own policies and they are becoming more and more stringent as we go. So there has been a very large push that has come to the industry where they have to take a certain large steps to creating a more sustainable product, end use, and how do they affect the environment. For Siddharth, I feel sustainability is not just a goal. It's more at the core of what we want to focus on. So there is a lot of conversation where everybody does on carbon footprints, etc. So it is not just about bringing down carbon footprints right now. It is also about, so there is a gate to gate, which everybody is currently focusing on. Us being a vendor to larger firms, we focus on that very high, because by the time they come to their cradle to gate, we are ready for them. But beyond that, we feel that there is a lot of change that can happen due to the technology that we put in for better products. So other than making our processes more efficient, for us, it is about what product do we bring out. And that is coming from, of course, our technology centers. The focus is on a green portfolio. So where there are steps to the end goal being biodegradable for everything that we're doing. While there, we have already introduced a lot of biodegradable products, but not for every application. So that's the end game. We focus on less hazardous products to replace critical raw materials which are more hazardous. And then we take steps towards eventually a full green portfolio. So that is what we have been focusing on.
Very interesting. But for my viewers and listeners, Bhavika, tell me a little bit more about the meaning of a green portfolio for grease and lubricants. And how does that work?
Absolutely. So there are 2-3 aspects to it. One is that, say, every truck and car, they have a lubricant and grease requirement. There is a drain period involved with it. That is a total loss product, which will eventually is being cleared out going to the earth. Similar such in the trucks, in the CE, in so many of these automobile equipments. Now, all of that, if say, for example, it used to happen at a 20,000 kilometer. So the focus is one on very large drains. So we have come up with a full portfolio which goes to 60,000, 80,000, 120,000, 200,000. So the idea is to have fill for life greases, which then doesn't, for the whole duration of so many years of the car, it does not need to be replaced. And that then it harms the environment much lesser. So that is one aspect of this. The other is that there are many applications where you cannot put it for life. There is, or you have to change it, or the change is very, very frequent and it has to keep happening because of the dusty environment or anything like that. In those aspects, we are focusing on completely biodegradable products. So if it does fall into the earth and it does, it automatically biodegrades and it does not create harm in the earth or in the soil or the ground. So that is where the focus is going on. There is also a lot of food grade technologies and products that we've developed for the food industry. so
Right.
that even though it is going in the machine, but in by any chance, if it contaminates the food and if a person eats it, it is not harmful for them.
Mm.
So there are many such, these are just few. So there are
Yeah.
many such products that we are coming up with, and we have come up with,
Mm.
which have that focus.
Fantastic. Great response. Thank you. I'm good. My next few questions are now for Bhavika as an entrepreneur and as a leader. How do you foster a culture of innovation and continuous improvement within your own teams?
I think you must be a flag bearer if you want to foster any culture in the team.
Correct.
So if you are not continuously improving and you are not continuously focusing on this yourself, the
Mm.
team doesn't do it.
Mm.
So the prime focus for me is to focus for that one for myself.
Right.
The second is there are ways to encourage and then there are ways to reward. And we are trying to create that open environment where the team has full authority to take, to innovate, to come up with something new, to stop something wrong.
Mm.
So, and there are a lot of cross-functional teams and a lot of uh, innovation teams, and there are a lot of continuous improvement teams that we have formed. And I will not say we have formed, I will say they have formed themselves.
Mhm.
And then to those people who are looking to provide that
Mm.
continuous improvement to us, then we focus on their trainings, personalized workshops, and what all can they contribute. So
Mm.
there is a lot that goes behind on trying to build something we say as a culture rather than, just something coming from the top.
Well said. And how do you manage operations across two different geographies between India and Dubai?
So it has been harder than you would think, or we would have imagined in the
Mhm.
beginning.
Mm.
Uh, so we came into a new geography with already set systems, 35 years to a company, so many plants, knowing very well that we can sustain it. But once you do reach there, you realize the gaps that have been there, which you don't realize because of a locational advantage or the people advantage. So it was truly starting from scratch, and the new company was built with as much as we could do as a transfer, and there were so many things that could not have been transferred.
Mm.
So it was built as a separate entity, and for some time we did run it as a separate entity. And once it was stable enough, then we have done a lot of exercises of creating a global forum and across cross-functional teams across both these companies to
Mm.
create a global setup.
Mm.
I feel we've learned a lot in that process. Again, it was a push learn, but we learned a lot from that process. And it has fostered a lot of confidence in me and my husband both, that now, we are prepared to take that leap forward into many more directions after having had that learning curve.
Amazing. Amazing. Well said. Again, when I was reading about you, I was fascinated to read about how much work you're also doing to promote gender diversity and inclusion. Tell me a little bit more about your experience in this area.
So this is a passion project for me.
Mhm.
When I got into industry, and even now, to be honest, there has been change, but not so much.
Mm.
It's not unusual for me to be the only woman in a meeting. It
Mm.
happens till date, it happens for about 90% of the time.
Mhm.
At that time, it was 100% of the time.
Mm.
And it gave a lot of, you don't get a lot of opportunities to connect with other women then.
Correct.
And you attend conferences and you make that effort and you go out there, but there is still a lack of connect. There is not a lot of women attending.
Mm.
And it takes, men don't approach you so easily,
Mm.
instantly. It's always a thought out process. So for me, the idea was to find other women who are in the industry,
Mm.
to connect with them, and to find a common platform because it is an easy access. And I'm looking to network with them. I'm looking to learn from them. I'm looking to help them. So I created this group on LinkedIn, which is called Women in Lubricants and Greases.
Hmm.
And that's still a work in progress. There's a lot that needs to be done in that area. But I always felt to myself that I had an easy entry, I had an easy access. I was literally married into this business. I have still found it very hard to grow and find other women and connect. But what about the people who don't have this access?
Correct.
How to motivate more women coming into the industry?
Hmm.
So, this is the driving force behind trying to create some platform where women find it very easy to connect with each other
Hmm.
and reach out to each other and
Hmm.
meet each other. So, that is my idea behind this.
Fascinating. Fascinating. So, Bhavik, I have time for two more questions. My next question is, what does being named as one of the top 10 leaders in the oil and gas industry mean to you?
It is, it is not easy to be a full-time mother of two, take
Mhm.
care of a home, and be fully at work.
Yeah.
And I have been doing that for very long, like so many other women. And there is so many times in that where you question yourself and you're not sure if you're on the right path. And there is so much that goes on behind while you are at work and ignoring something or missing a PTM. I feel these recognitions, they give so much validation to what you're doing. Sometimes, and you sometimes really need it. And more than validation, I feel for me, it is ultimately a tool to inspire other women
Mhm.
to see that other women, you can create an impact if you really want to.
Mhm.
So for me, that this has been very important.
Wonderful. And my last question for you, coming back to the lubricants and grease industry, what are some of the biggest trends or changes you see as one of the leaders in this industry in the coming years?
I have mentioned a few things in till now which have spoken of sustainability, which has
Yeah.
spoken of nano, which has spoken of the environment,
Yeah.
etc. I feel with the world going so highly towards AI, the upcoming trend is going to be smart lubricants, where there is going to be a lot of innovation that is going to come on this aspect
Mhm.
on how can artificial intelligence play a role in the lubricant factory.
Mhm.
So there is a lot of work going on behind it, but that is the biggest trend which I see that will come up in the future now
Mhm.
of smart lubrication.
Amazing. Amazing. And on that note, Bhavika, thank you so much for speaking to me about your own journey. Um, I just love the story you told me about how you were introduced to this journey with a little board with your name on it and saying, if they can do it, so can you. And you seem to be delivering on that comment so well. Thank you so much for speaking about the grease and lubes industry and Siddharth, your company's role in this whole industry. I think I learned many new things from you about the industry today. Thank you also for speaking to me about how you are motivating your teams and what you are doing and what you foresee as a woman leader in this so-called male-dominated business. Thank you again for speaking to me and good luck to you.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the brand called You.